Hello dear students, I am Akila, faculty in physics, Silver Hills High Secondary School. Welcome back to my today's session of physics. In our last two videos, we have been discussing about electric current, its unit, its dimension, how current flows through a conductor, then about drift velocity, the equation of drift velocity, relaxation time, etc. Today let's get introduced to a genius in physics, George Simon Ohm. He was a German physicist and a mathematician. As a school teacher, he began his research on an electrochemical cell which was invented by Alessandro Volta. And in 1828, he came out with his observations regarding the experiment which he had done on this. He said that there is some relation between the potential difference and the current in a conductor. This was put in the form of a law and was named as Ohm's law after the scientist. Now let's try to state what is Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the ends of the conductor, provided temperature and other physical conditions remain unchanged. That is, Ohm's law states that the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the ends of the conductor, provided temperature and other physical conditions do not change. This can be put in the form of an equation. Suppose V is the potential applied across the conductor. This V is proportional to I, where I is the current flowing through the conductor. Or you can write it as V is equal to R into I, where R is the proportionality constant and R is called the resistance of the conductor. R does not depend on V and I. Or you may even write it as V by I is equal to R. This is the equation for Ohm's law. Now let's try to plot this on a graph. That is, along the x-axis, let us take the potential difference, and along the y-axis, let us take current. Then you can see you get a straight line graph like this, because V is proportional to I. Now if you take the slope of this graph, mark it as theta, let me name it as ABC. Then here you can see tan theta is equal to AB by BC, which is equal to I by V, or which is equal to 1 by R. That means the reciprocal of the slope gives us the resistance of the conductor. This is what we get from the graph. So from Ohm's law we have seen that V is proportional to I, or V is equal to IR, where R is the resistance of the conductor. Now tell me, what do you mean by resistance of the conductor? First, can you tell me what is the meaning of the word resistance? Resistance means to oppose something or to prevent something from happening. So here we are talking about the flow of current. So obviously here it is to prevent the flow of current. So the resistance of a conductor can be defined as the property by virtue of which it tries to oppose the flow of current in the conductor, or it causes a hindrance to the flow of current. This is what we call as resistance of a conductor. The unit of resistance is ohm. It is denoted like this. Okay, so from this equation we know that V by I is equal to R. You can say resistance will be equal to 1 ohm if V is equal to 1 volt and I is equal to 1 ampere. So resistance of a conductor is 1 ohm if a current of 1 ampere flows through a conductor on applying a potential difference of 1 volt. Now let us see what are the factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. Factors on which resistance depends. Factors on which resistance depends. The first factor on which the resistance of a conductor depends is length of the conductor. Length of the conductor. And here you can see resistance is directly proportional to length of the conductor. More lengthier the conductor is, higher is the resistance in that case. The second factor on which the resistance of a conductor depends is area of cross section. That is, second one is area of cross section. Here R is inversely proportional to area of cross section. Resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. That is, as area of cross section increases, resistance decreases. Now the third factor on which resistance depends is nature of the material of the conductor. Nature of the material of the conductor. In the case of a nichrome wire, the resistance is about 60 times to that of a copper wire of same length and same area of cross section. Now let us see how this Ohm's law is verified. You have a very simple circuit to verify Ohm's law. You have a conductor, let me name it as XY. XY is a conductor which is connected to a battery. This is connected to a key, then here you have an ammeter and then a rheostat. This is the key, this is the battery, here you have the ammeter, and across this conductor a voltmeter is connected to measure the potential difference. So here you can see in the circuit there is an ammeter, here you have the rheostat, here you have the key, battery, and a voltmeter is connected here across the conductor. Now, how do you do this experiment to see whether Ohm's law holds good? We have to get V by I is equal to R, which is a constant. Now here you switch on the circuit, current starts flowing through the circuit, you take the ammeter reading which gives the value of current flowing through the circuit. Then you take the voltmeter reading which gives you the potential difference across this conductor, take the ratio of V by I, and you have to check whether you get the value as a constant for different positions of rheostat. This is how you verify Ohm's law. So dear students, today we have seen what is Ohm's law, the equation for Ohm's law, the graph plotting potential difference and current. We have seen how to verify Ohm's law, and with this we will stop for today. Thank you and have a nice day.